Dark, angry clouds roll across the sky. Distant flashes of lightning illuminate an angry, turbulent sea. Majestic trumpets seem to sound from the very heart of the heavens. And from this celestial orchestra, one note rings out, clear, strong, and unwavering, a message to the world. But men's hearts are hardened and no one pays heed. Now the great archangel steps forth from the heavenly host. His golden armor shines like 1,000 suns and his eyes burn with celestial fire. This is the warrior of the Lord, the Archangel Michael. In his hand, he holds aloft a flaming sword, its tip glowing brightly against the darkening skies. The heavens tremble at his presence and the very foundations of the earth quake beneath his feet. He stands between the darkness of hell and the fading light of heaven, the last hope for mankind. And now he speaks, his voice thundering like a mighty clap of thunder. Heed my words, ye children of man, for I bring a message from the Most High. The hour of your salvation is at hand, but only if you choose to follow the path of righteousness. Though his words are clear, no one hears. Men have turned away from God and refused to listen to his words. They chase after wind and turn their backs on the light. Their ears are deaf to the music of the spheres and their eyes are blind to the truth. Oh, how blind they are to the approaching storm, the gathering darkness that threatens to consume them all. They scurry like ants beneath the ground, building their towers ever higher in a futile attempt to hide from the coming tempest. They think themselves wise, but they are fools. For what is wisdom without the fear of the Lord? What is knowledge without the light of truth? As the clouds grow darker and the winds begin to howl, Michael turns his gaze towards the heavens. With a heavy heart, he sees the light of heaven slowly fading, replaced by an encroaching darkness. The trumpets fall silent and the celestial music fades to a whisper. Even the birds have fallen silent, sensing the growing danger. A hush falls over the world as if all creation is holding its breath. The archangel raises his flaming sword high above his head and brings it crashing down upon the earth. The impact sends a shock wave rippling outward, shaking the very foundations of the world. Yet still men do not hear. They are lost in their own little worlds, chasing after pleasure and comfort. They are too busy to notice the gathering darkness or too afraid to face the truth. With a heavy sigh, Michael sheathes his sword. His mission here is done. He has done all he can. Now it is up to man to choose his fate. Will he turn to the light or will he walk in darkness? And so the archangel departs, leaving the world to its own devices. But as he turns to go, he casts one last glance over his shoulder. And in that one brief moment, the men of the world see the light of heaven shining through the clouds. For just a moment, they catch a glimpse of the glory of the Lord and hear the echo of Michael's voice ringing in their ears. And yet still they do not repent. Oh, how blind they are! They see the light, but they refuse to follow it. They hear the call to salvation, but they turn a deaf ear to it. In the distance, a city burns. Its towering buildings reach for the heavens like the branches of a dead tree. From above, it looks like a fallen star fallen from the grace of God. Once it was a beacon of hope and progress, but now it is consumed by darkness. As Michael looks on, he sees the people running through the streets in terror, their faces pale with fear. They run for the hills, abandoning their homes and their possessions, fleeing from the wrath of God. The flames rise higher, licking at the smoke-filled sky. The heat is intense, but the people cannot escape the inferno that surrounds them. They are trapped like rats in a burning ship, doomed to die. The stench of burning flesh fills the air, making Michael's heart sick. He turns away, unable to watch any longer. For as he flees, the full force of the explosion hits him and he is knocked off his feet. When he looks back, he can see the city no more. In its place is a gaping hole in the ground, a monument to the folly of man. A great wave rises in the distance, towering over the coastal town like a wall of water. It crashes onto the shore, sweeping away everything in its path. Homes are destroyed, trees are uprooted, and people are swept out to sea. The ocean seems to be angry, lashing out at the land, destroying all in its path. Michael flies closer, his face etched with concern. He sees the people struggling in the water, their cries for help lost in the roar of the waves. He reaches out a hand trying to help, but he can only pull a few from the wreckage. The rest are gone, taken away by the relentless sea. As he watches, the water recedes once more, leaving behind a scene of utter devastation. The coastal town is in ruins, its people scattered and its future uncertain. Michael shakes his head sadly. This, too, is the work of man. He has tampered with the balance of nature and now the earth is taking its revenge. The archangel looks up into the sky. The clouds are dark and heavy, promising more storms to come. He knows that there is nothing more he can do here. He has done all he can and now he must move on. With a heavy heart, Michael turns away from the ravaged coastline and flies off into the distance. The music swells, but not with triumph or joy. No, this music is laced with sadness and foreboding, for the archangel knows that this is not the end. There is more pain and suffering to come. The world is in chaos and only a few seem to notice. People scurry about their business, oblivious to the turmoil that surrounds them. Some are lost in thought, others are engaged in idle chatter, but all of them are unaware of the danger that lurks in the shadows. Michael flies over a crowded street, his keen eyes scanning the throngs of people. He sees a young mother pushing her child in a stroller. Her face is drawn and haggard, her eyes filled with worry. She's too busy looking out for herself to notice the approaching danger. He sees a group of businessmen huddled together, discussing their latest deal. They are sharp-dressed men, their faces hard and their eyes cold. They are too caught up in their own ambitions to see the bigger picture. The archangel continues his flight, his heart heavy with sorrow. He sees a young couple making love in a secluded spot. Their passion is intense, but it is selfish and self-indulgent. They are too wrapped up in their own desires to care about anything else. Michael shakes his head sadly. These people are doomed. They have chosen their own path and there is no turning back. The sky darkens as the last rays of sunlight fade from view. The wind picks up, carrying with it the scent of rain and decay. Michael lands on a nearby rooftop, his wings folded tightly against his back. He looks up at the sky, his face grim. The clouds are roiling and churning, promising a violent storm. The wind grows stronger, whipping around him, trying to tear his wings from his back. Raindrops begin to fall, heavy and cold. They sting Michael's skin like tiny needles, but he does not move. He stands his ground, bracing himself against the onslaught of the storm. He is the warrior of the Lord, and he will not be deterred. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning strikes, splitting the sky in two. Thunder roars, shaking the very foundations of the world. The wind screams, carrying with it the voices of the damned. Michael raises his head and lets out a mighty roar, his voice echoing across the rooftops. Repent, ye sinners, for the hour of your salvation is at hand. But his words are lost in the fury of the storm. The rain comes down in torrents, flooding the streets and overflowing the gutters. The wind whips around him, trying to tear him from his perch. The lightning flashes, illuminating the darkness with its cold, harsh light. But Michael does not flinch. He stands firm, his wings spread wide, sheltering him from the worst of the storm. Then, as quickly as it began, the storm is over. The clouds part, revealing a sliver of blue sky. The wind dies down to a gentle breeze, and the rain stops. The air is fresh and clean, washed anew by the cleansing storm. But the peace is shattered by the sound of trumpets. They blare forth from the heavens, echoing across the land. Michael looks up, his face filled with determination. The trumpets call to him, summoning him to action. He knows what he must do. He spreads his wings and takes to the sky, soaring above the city, the storm, the people. Below him, he sees the light of 1,000 candles flickering in the darkness. Each candle represents a soul, a life, a chance at salvation. Michael knows that his time is running out. He must act fast if he wants to save any of them. He dives toward the city, his wings beating the air, propelling him forward. The candles below him flicker and dance, guiding him to those who need his help the most. Michael swoops down, touching a cold hand with his own. Warmth flows from him, reviving the dying man. As he flies on, he sees a woman kneeling in prayer. Her face is lifted in supplication, her eyes closed in faith. Michael touches her forehead, and light floods her mind, opening her eyes to the truth. He continues his flight, bringing hope to the hopeless and healing the broken. But as he does, he feels a growing darkness within him. He senses the approach of evil, and he knows that his time is running out. He must make one final stand, one last effort to save the people from themselves. Michael lands in a clearing, his armor gleaming in the moonlight. He stands tall and proud, a beacon of light in the darkness. But his expression is grave. He knows what he must do, and he is not afraid. Raising his sword high above his head, he brings it crashing down onto the ground. The impact sends a shock wave rippling outward, shaking the very foundations of the world. The archangel's voice echoes across the land, shaking the people from their slumber. Repent, ye sinners, for the hour of your salvation is at hand. But the people are slow to heed his warning. They argue and fight, refusing to listen to the voice of reason. They chase after pleasure and indulge in their own desires, ignoring the call to salvation. And so Michael waits, his patience wearing thin. He sees the people squabbling and fighting, and his heart breaks for them. He wants to help, but he knows that they must choose to help themselves. Then, as the first rays of sunlight touch the horizon, Michael makes his final stand. He raises his sword high above his head and brings it crashing down onto the ground. Beware, ye children of men, for the hour of your salvation is past. The words hang in the air, a final warning before the darkness descends. And as the first rays of sunlight touch the horizon, the people finally wake up. They look up to see Michael standing tall and proud, his sword raised high above his head. But it is too late. The hour of salvation has passed. The darkness is here. The archangel lowers his sword, his eyes filled with sorrow. He turns away from the people and walks into the darkness, leaving them to face the consequences of their actions. The people cry out, begging for mercy, but there is none to be found. The darkness envelops them, and their screams are swallowed up by the void. Michael walks on, his footsteps echoing in the emptiness. He is the last of the light, the last of the hope, the last of the salvation. And as he walks, the music swells, rising in intensity, building to a climax. Then, just as suddenly, it stops. There is nothing now but silence.